Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Sinistella. Let's get started. Adam, did some work yesterday on the intro. So, the plan for today is to polish the intro as much as possible and then probably mess around on his new synth to make some music in the afternoon. Yeah, that's the plan. I don't know if it's going to come to fruition. The polished part probably will, but the music part might not. So I'll show what I've got so we can kick off the stream actually looking at something here. And let me make sure audio seems good. Okay, yeah. So we've got about a minute now of intro and it's basically done and you'll see why we need to polish it. There's some yeah, anyway, I'll just start this. So let's take a look together. Wait, that's not the right thing. let's start this again from the beginning. There's good morning. And that's pretty much it. So then we fade to black 1 month later, and then you start the game. So that's what we've been working on for the last few days. There are some obvious parts we need to polish there. I've got to figure out the quest accepted thing because I'm not sure how to make that look better. But a lot of the environments need to be changed. I don't know, just like little things here and there. So what I'm going to start with is cleaning up what I was working on yesterday, which I don't think I got done with. And then we will move on to the polish stuff. So tile set source changed here. None of this stuff should have really changed. How is everybody doing today? Hope you're all having a good Wednesday so far. Intro scene. This makes sense. This would have changed. We need to connect this to the rest of the stuff. Honestly, we probably have more than one morning's worth of work, but I kind of want to do some music stuff. So I probably will focus on music stuff in the afternoon. Main character got some new animations. This is fine. Intro shop. This is a whole new scene. We should probably go through the scenes and make sure all of these things are actually needed. It's over here. Make sure each part of the scene tree is needed in the new intro scenes. I copy pasted a lot, so there may be unused references. Okay, in general, looking good. I also want to figure out what we want to do about the music there. The slowed down music seems good, but then I think we need to slowly fade it out. I do like that it cuts out completely when you die, though. Maybe gone to bed entirely too late last night, paying for it now. You grab coffee. Gotcha. All right, so we don't have that. We don't need this. This is all looking good. Good, 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 good. This is not good. The intro shop scene. We got to clean that up. Please tell me we're at the bottom. Yes, okay, good. Okay, so let's go clean up intro shop. All right, I was testing out some different things here. I had like poison being done on a timer. That didn't let me time things all that well, believe it or not. That's all looking good. Delete this, delete this. Okay, the rest of this is looking pretty much fine. Get rid of that too. All right, yeah. So one of the things that changes here is the time scale. I'll say add final scene, final intro scene. This doesn't connect yet to the tutorial of the game and needs to. Okay, let's go get it to connect. Because that's got to happen no matter what. So at the end of this scene, we're going to have this fade out again. Intro, let's go to battle. Fading out, switch to next scene. That's going to be the game though. And this needs to go up here. Yeah. Fading out. Oh, this is... No, we already had this. And this isn't needed? No, it is. I just didn't set this a nullable. That's fine. Okay, so intro gets this. Shop scene. And yeah, when the intro fades out, we need to show the loading screen again. But then we need to configure what it goes to. Is there a way to control that? No. But we have this transition to scene, and we make the loading screen somewhere. I gotta look at that. Where do we do this? Change the intro scene. Something changes to the loading screen. I forgot where that is. Loading screen. Here it is. Well, no, not quite. Ah, I see. There it is. Lumbox, thanks for subbing. Wait, I want to make sure. I know I wrote your name down in the pronunciation thing. Yeah, Lumbox. I always got to check that. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So we're just loading the loading screen here. Nothing configures it to know what to go to afterward. It's just change scene to file to that. I think we're going to need to refactor this all at some point. But for now, I think I want to do something pretty quick. We do it by path. Well, what I was thinking is we have game saver, and this has a bunch of static stuff. We could add a static scene that it's going to switch to afterward. Actually, it could even just be a Boolean because it's only ever going to go to the... It's only ever going to go into a new game. Wait, no, what? Yeah. New game or the intro, I guess. No, loaded game or the intro. Yeah. So yeah, there are only two things you can do, right? You're on the title screen and you do new game, in which case we do the intro and then like the tutorial, or you do load game, in which case we just put you into your loaded game. No matter what though, there's going to be a loading screen before this stuff. So we either go to the intro or we go into the main game. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I'm going to do this kind of hackily for right now. So public static bool switch to intro after loading. And normally this is going to be false. And so this can go back to what it was, I guess. Yeah, we do this. So this will put us in the town scene, but assuming we made it to the title screen, then the title screen has two different things. We have start new game, in which case we're going to set game saver this thing to true. Or we're going to be loading a game, in which case we do this equals false. Then in the loading screen itself, when we transition out of this, we do this conditionally. So if we switch to the intro after loading, then change to that, else change to that. All right. That should work. So this will put us in the right scene, but nothing's going to put us in the right thing after I guess we just need to do this at the end of the intro, right? So this is on shop scene fading out. Private void on shop scene fading out. What are we doing here? We're fading in a new scene? Not anymore. Scene transition. What even is this thing? Oh, darn it. This is inside. Okay, I don't think we can do that then. I think we just go to the town scene. Yeah, because we don't need a loading screen anymore. So we do whatever the loading screen did, which is this, but there's a scene transition. We don't have that. You need to add one to the intro scene. It should be fine. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Intro and title. Scene transition. Copy that over to here. Get that from intro. Scene transition. And then go use that. Yeah, nice. Okay. All right, I think we should be good. Let's go try that. So if I just run this right now, it needs a canvas layer. Node where fade happens. Whoa, what? Hold on a second. You can fade a canvas layer? Oh, or does it just add it to that node? Yeah, it adds a fade rectangle to that node. Okay, yeah, I see. Okay, that's fine. And yeah, thank you for the call out there. You need coffee less than I need coffee. So we're going to add a canvas layer here. This is basically just for transitioning. I'll just even call it canvas layer. It doesn't need to have a different name. And then we assign the canvas layer. All right, but there's a problem here. Already defines a member called switch to next scene. Did I duplicate this? This fades out and calls fading out, which is exactly what we need. All right, let's see how that looks. It's possible that it's fine. And then we need to start polishing code and the timings of things and the looks of things. Okay, that did technically work, but I have it now going directly to the town scene, and we needed to go to the title screen. So let's change this to this. Also, is it louder than normal? It feels like it got louder. New game. No, maybe it didn't get louder. I don't know. Anyway, I want to watch this and see if it works correctly. All right. Now it's nighttime. I don't know if it's going to be clear that this is nighttime. It might just look like we didn't fade in the screen completely. And I kind of want to fix that too. No one should ever meet their end like that. I think we can come up with something that sounds a little better than that. All right, so now it says 1 month later. Now we should just be in the game. It's never going to make this leave. It's never had to call the function. Whoops. Yeah, so 1 month later. Hey, Codex. Need some lanterns? Yeah, I think that would help. Alternatively, I wonder if just fade to black and then fade to full white again so that it just looks like it's the next day and not necessarily nighttime, because it doesn't need to be nighttime. Although if it's not nighttime, then I guess you'd expect the potion seller to be there, standing there, looking horrified. Also, I guess that means they just left their body there. Yeah, maybe we should just make it daytime. Okay. Let's write a couple things then. Just have it fade back to daytime, or at least mostly daytime. And then the other thing is change the line that the skeleton says about how no one should meet their end like that. I want it to be punchier somehow. All right, so what did I just say I wanted to do though? Oh, I want to call this function, right? Where's the part where we fade in? We do this. Hide dialogue, make character walk right. Where's the 1 month later thing? Here it is. Okay, there's 1 month later. So we don't need to show this forever. Maybe a couple of seconds. So basically like right here, insert key, or show next scene. There it is. Called switch, not show. All right, so we got to watch this again. Maybe modulating the tile map layer works fine. Wait, first if I load, it skips all that, right? No, it doesn't. We don't have instant slot save status here because I'm on an old branch that didn't fix this. Ugh. Okay, well anyway, it looks like it's probably gonna work. Let's just ignore that for now. Modulating the tile map layer. I think we need to modulate the player too if it's supposed to be dark. Okay. Remember, the only thing I changed is that at the end of all of this, it says 1 month later, and then it actually puts us in the game. We probably need to show the skeleton walking into town if we're going to do that. Yeah, I think that might help. Okay, cool. Yeah, that worked. I guess we'll add it to polish. When starting a brand new game, maybe show the skeleton walking across the bridge with their dialogue following them in camera space. You'd be able to control the camera, and I think that the dialogue may end up changing. Moving the dialogue may end up changing it for all dialogues. Maybe we don't want to do that. I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah, so this connects. I think it took a little bit long. So I think we'll just do switch to next scene after like a second sooner. But yeah, we've connected it, so I think that's probably good. Connect the intro to the game. Sounds good. Yeah. Let's go plug that in. Yep. This was commented out. I guess we can leave it commented out. Yeah, now what should we do about this one? I'm going to be testing title screen stuff, so I guess let's leave the title screen stuff in here. So we're going to load the... How about we just do this? If has feature debug, then game saver dot switch to intro after loading equals true, and then load the... This won't work. We'll come back to that. Yeah, everything else is fine. Okay, so let's come back to it now then. Yeah, so we need to get the scene to load. String scene to load. And normally it's going to be the title screen. But on debug builds, we're either going to have like a bool go to intro. Yeah, I guess like skip straight to intro. And I'll just set this to true. And if that's true, then this gets set. And then we set the scene to load based on this. So we go to the loading screen or to the main game, town scene. Yeah. And then delete these things. Yeah, delete these. That should work. Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. So you would need to modify this. Connect final intro scene back to the game. i.e. you are now dumped into the town scene after the intro is finished. Okay. Let's get to tackling the rest of this to-do list, huh? So have it fade back to daytime, or at least mostly daytime. Godot lighting. I mean, we can try to figure out lighting, or we can just have it go back to daytime. 2D scenes are unshaded, no lights and shadows visible. This is faster render. Unshaded scenes can look bland. Real-time 2D lighting and shadows can greatly enhance the depth of your project. Canvas modulate. It's used to darken the scene by specifying a color that will act as the base ambient color. Final scene would look too bright as 2D lights will only brighten. Huh, I didn't even know that was a note. Could be daytime, but you wake up elsewhere too, like they moved you. That would be a little bit strange, I think. Would you, if you saw a customer just die outside your potion shop, would you just move their body somewhere? I mean, I guess you'd probably call someone to do that because you wouldn't assume they'd come back from the dead, but I'm gonna assume they just like bolted. It's nighttime. Okay, so we add a canvas modulate. Now, this is pretty interesting. I didn't know this was a thing. So yeah, we can just set this lower and then use a point light to make it brighter again. Very interesting. The textures, background, and for the shadow casters, point lights are used to light the scene. The way a light typically works by adding a selected texture over the rest of the scene to simulate lighting. And they're used to tell the shader which parts of the scene cast shadows. Texture size determines the size of the light. Texture may have an alpha channel, which is useful when it's mixed. Not required in add or subtract. If you don't have a pre-made texture, you can use this. Nice. Sounds good. Thanks, Godot. Okay, so go put this into Skeleseller. 100 move dead. These are the kinds of things that'd be fun to add into the game. I think we're gonna be scrapped. We're gonna be tight on time. I'd love to add in the Skelerap to the game too at some point. Although we can find a way to fit that in. All right, so where do we put this? It's kind of a particle. I'll just put it in here. 2D light and shadow neutral point light. All right, we'll just call this neutral point light. Also, it's a WebP file, which we don't have any of those. But yeah, let's go add in a point light now. Point light. Quick load. Neutral. Huh. Yeah, that's pretty convincing. We just need this to be in torches, which are pretty easy to get. Yeah. Where are the torches, though? That's the question. We don't have any in the shop. Well, we have those. But those are coming out of the ground. Do I want them attached to the shop? Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't care. What do we put this here? But it's got to illuminate you. All right, let's just put these down and whatever. We'll just see what it looks like. Okay, now let's put the point light over here. This is way too bright, by the way. So we got to shrink the size of this. Range. Transform. Scale. It's got to be big enough to cover you in the middle so that you can see yourself there. So 0.6 maybe. And then we put another one of these things over here. So now you have this tiny little Venn diagram space in the middle. Let's try that. If I were to just run the scene, the canvas modulate is going to be there for everything. I would need to fade the canvas modulate. But if this were set to maximum, then... Oh, then it gets even brighter. Okay, so we can't do that. We need to turn all this stuff on at once. And if I turn this off and this stuff off, now it's just a regularly lit scene. Yeah, so we can just make all these things visible at once. Let's put them all into a lighting node, I guess. Node 2D, put all this stuff in here. We'll call this lighting. And then I'll just turn this off by default. And in the animation player, we'll have that thing turn back on. So after on death is called, instead of going to this level of modulate, wait, hang on a second. Let me think about this. This was going to nighttime, then coming back to like this level of nighttime. So we would turn this on over here. Yeah, the light occluders, those I'm not going to be too concerned with for right now. If this doesn't look amazing, it's probably okay. I just want it to look a little more convincing than what it does. All right, so we turn that on. Now when we fade back in, we're going to fade to fully transparent. So this is going to make it so, because this is the opposite color. This is black. So by fading it fully in, now this, or out, it's going to be visible. And then we set this back to out. Okay, good. So that will hopefully work. Let's go try that. Hey, Worka. Let's see it. Oh, it's starting from the beginning. All right, I don't want that. I'm not going to wait around and watch this whole thing again. Let's call skip to what I'm working on. All right, looking good. Definitely want to fix the dialogue sizing. All right, nice. Yeah, that's a pretty cool effect, except for now that Skeleton's going to walk into the light. Or the lamppost, I mean. Well, no, it's maybe convincing that they'll walk just barely in front of it. But maybe we should move the lights up just a tiny bit so that that's not a problem. Oh, we can't move them up a tiny bit, though. We have to move them up by a tile at a time. So we'd have to put them on a different tile layer. Because we can move them up by one tile entirely. Alternatively, we could have the main character stop a little bit lower. The left post may be enough too. And there's just one lantern and it's not symmetrical. I guess we could do that. Let's delete this. And this point light has better be that one. Yeah, good. Okay, so delete this one then. Well, then maybe this should be a little bit bigger. Also, how do we change the drop off and everything? Energy. Whoa. All right, we could have it be lower energy and a wider range. Although I guess at some point it's not going to be convincing that this torch can produce that much light. I'm not really sure what to do. Maybe, well, if we move it to the right, it's going to be weird that there's just a torch exactly where it needs to be. Alternatively, we can make it so that it's lighter or darker outside. I kind of liked wherever this was, which is there. It's a fantasy world. Yeah, but I can't suspend my disbelief and think they would have put a torch just here, exactly where you die. All right, there. That's maybe pretty good, and then maybe like that. I don't know. Let's try that out. To turn this off, go try it out again. All right, I have a lot of little things to fix up here. All right, nice. Okay, and then we go into the main game. Put a path leading to the shop. It'll look like the posts are there for the path. Yeah, that would be very smart. Yeah, when we make the terrain, I think we should do that. So then let's put the other. Yeah, I'll do that when we get to that point, I guess, because there are some other things I want to do too. Where's the shop scene? Here it is. All right, so add a path leading to this shop. Put a torch on the right side of the path, but lower down than the one on the left, so that your character doesn't walk into it when leaving the scene. All right, so this is done. Let's go check that in, I guess. I'm pretty impressed the lighting is that easy to get to work. Yeah, that's it. Just don't check an intro. Add lighting to the shop intro scene. Okay, change the line that the skeleton says. Yeah, so if we go to the mock-up, this is what we had. No one should ever meet their end like that. Man, I know we talked about this a lot, but I wanted to communicate your skeleton has a mission now to stop this from happening. Like, you're going to start a town and sell an antidote eventually. The current text is no one should ever meet their end like that. And it works, but it's sort of flat and what's the word? Unnatural, I think. Maybe. What did we have written down in the design document for this? I think it was just longer text. Where is it? We don't have it written down? Hmm. Because, like, we could go the other route and just have a joke here. But then 1 month later, and you're starting a town, why? Oh, man. Do we have any other, like... I just still feel like we're gonna write this down. Just saying that was unpleasant. I just feel like that's probably you have to somehow acknowledge that you're now a skeleton. Otherwise, we're skipping forward. You're otherwise not acknowledging that you're suddenly a skeleton. Hmm. Yeah, we can't just have it be that you die and you just go start a town. It's got to be something acknowledging what your goal is. I mean, it could be this followed by going to start my own town to make sure this never happens again. I don't want another line of dialogue there, though. Yeah, I'm not sold on this. I guess I'm a skeleton now. I guess that happened. Hey, okay. I can do that. We should just research every Marvel movie. I like this. I think this is sort of understated humor. It's not super in your face. It's like I died, and all that I'm saying is that I'm acknowledging the death, at least in this case. And I don't know for sure. Maybe there's a way to both share the mission and acknowledge the death at the same time. And maybe that's what we're kind of doing. No one should ever meet their end like that. Or maybe we should have two lines. Or you know what we could do? We have the intro, Land for Skeletown. This could do it. It could be end of cutscene is this. And then start of game could be your mission statement. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should come back to this. All right, let's just put a pin in this for now. The line about your mission statement. So two problems. I feel like we have to acknowledge your death, in which case I really like this as a line. But then we also need to share your mission statement, or else it isn't going to make sense why you started your own town. Hi, Goose. Yeah, my R key is double typing. Let me take this off. Yeah. Man, did Red stream for a really long time last night? Or was my Twitch messing up? Could deny the antidote because of lack of healthcare. Too American, then the lead can place blame and start the shop in defiance of Big Pharma. I very much like the direction we have and just need a line that's punchier. Went to bed early. Gotcha. Gotcha. How's Gus doing? Heard he had a little operation. All right, so I don't know what we want to do about that. This probably need the X to start huge and then get smaller and play a bonk sound. Yeah, let's do that. So that is in this scene. We eventually show an X on the potion. I want to communicate that they don't have this. And one way of doing it is to maybe to show a thumbs down, but I kind of think this communicates that they don't have this potion. I just don't think it's obvious. I think we need to start this as like a large sprite and then shrink it. By the way, Goose, we do try to keep the stream family friendly. So despite that, I know the operation, I was purposely asking vaguely. But anyway, glad to hear that he's doing well. Yeah, I wonder if this would look goofy. Let's try it out. Yeah, no worries. Let's go find that sprite 2. So this is the X sprite. And we just modulated appearing, but I wonder if we also modulated its scale. So let's do that. Let's get this thing. Let's change its scale. Let's add in this and this. So what scale is it right now? 0.03. So that's what it should end up as. And it should just start as something much bigger. Maybe, I don't know, 4 times the size. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. Let's see what that looks like if I just play it at normal speed. It's, I think, too slow. We need the easing on this to be different. Like that, maybe. No, why does that look stupid still? Why does that look stupid? Maybe we need it to be like even more drastic at the end. Something like that. Or just change the time. Okay, I am very bad at this. No one should ever trust me to do anything with animations. That's better. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Maybe that's better. And maybe we don't stop at 0.03. Maybe this does go a little bit beyond the bounds, 0.04. And maybe a tiny, tiny bit of opacity, like that much. Maybe even a little bit more. We just made this totally like, that's pretty good. I think now we need to get rid of the circle from the outside of this. I think just having the X would make more sense. Yeah, Codex said the same thing. Place the X offset to a corner, even if it goes partially outside the bubble. Animate it pulsing, grow and shrink. I think if we get rid of the circle, I think this will be the effect I want. I don't know if I have the ability to do that because this is an SVG. So we need to just find the circle in it. And it should be easy enough, but let's go find out. So game icons, close, cancel. There it is, cancel. Hey, Nelixis, how you doing? All right, so there's a circle in here somewhere. Can we get some like online SVG editor? This. Quick edit. We'll drag our thing over here. They don't have an import. At least not an import by doing that. I mean, I guess I could just draw an X. I'm doing pretty well. I think today's going to be a fun day. Boxy SVG. Oh, neat. Launch app. Is that not the app right there? File import. All right, so this, can I just drag here? Nice, that does work. All right, problem is we can't see this because it's white. How do we do anything here? Maybe I shouldn't even worry about this. Maybe I should just go to like game icons and just get an X for right now. Strange. You can't just search for X. Close. Or cancel. Hey, there we go. Okay, so let's download this one. And maybe this will have a separate path for the circle. Wait a second. This shouldn't be that hard to figure out though, right? Like one of these is a circle. We should just be able to find it from here. Yeah, because the circle itself should just be a point in a radius, right? In fact, it might be one of these paths such that we can just cut it out and see what it looks like. Yeah, let's go try that. So how do we do that? Let's just cut this out, I guess. Cancel that SVG. Reveal. And then put this over here. But we can't see it. So fun. I thought there was some way that we could make this visible. What's weird is it's not even selecting this anymore. Something's broken with this folder. Change the fill. Yeah, that's true. That would make this a lot easier. All right, F00. Thanks, LarkDev. Yeah. All right, so I want this one again. Oh, nice. Thanks. We did it. Yeah, cool. All right, that was easy. Easy peasy. Okay, so which one did we get rid of? The first one? Yeah, the first one. So let's just save this again as cancel without, or maybe we'll just call it X. No, I'll call it cancel without circle. And delete that. Done. Okay. Now we go use that in here. So quick load, cancel without circle. Now that's looking good. I like that a lot better. And then we can probably make it a little bit bigger too. 0.05. That's pretty decent. 0.06. Somewhere in between the two of those. Let's go 0.055. Nice. All right, so how's that look all together now? Blam. I ain't got no potion. Yeah. All right, let's go try it out. Let's see what it looks like in the context of the scene. Okay, now I felt like that was a little too fast. I think we move this, this, and this off to the side a little bit. So it's like, potion. No, I don't have that. Then you die. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's go with that. Oh yeah, and then the bonk sound. We got to play the bonk sound. How could I forget about the bonk sound? All right, so let's see which one of these sounds best. Oh God. That could maybe work. It's a, yeah. That's pretty nice too. I think I like that one. Denied 03. You move the animation player for the cutscenes. That looks really good. I used kind of a combination. But yes, there is an animation player there. Also, I've never heard the name Nev before. I watched the Conan O'Brien Mark Twain prize thing last night, and I was like, I immediately looked up Nev Campbell, and I'm like, this is why someone said, oh, clever name. I've been calling you Campbell Soup forever. I'm still gonna call you Campbell Soup. But yeah, I didn't know who that person was. All right, this is what I want to use here. Denied 03. Apparently Conan has a daughter named Nev. I just gotta make sure we're not already using this. Audio, sounds, UI. It's kind of a UI sound. In fact, I should probably search for this by doing this. Was it denied? Yeah, we never use any of these. It's going to technically be a town sound if we do it that way, though. But I'm going to put it into UI because it makes more sense to put it there, I guess. All right. So now we have that. That is going to be the I don't have a potion sound effect, which we don't use for anything else right now. So maybe I'll just call it denied 3. I don't know. Like intro no potion is also fine. Yeah, intro no potion. All right, let's do that. All right, path is this, as in UI. So it's just sound / UI. Okay, got it. Okay, so now how do we play that? I don't think we have access to the audio player here, do we? I mean, I guess we could just add one in, but it should follow the sound settings that you had. Although we could set the sound bus on that too, huh? Or you just do this through code. Doesn't really make a difference. Yeah, let's do it through code. I think it's fine. Alright, so we're gonna play like public void play no potion sound. There we go. And now we just call that from over here. So maybe right when the X starts showing up, like right around there, we call it. So we're going to add another call method track here so that they're not all stacked on top of each other. And then just put this play no potion sound. All right, let's see what that sounds like. Yeah. That's good, I think. Let's see that again. It's mostly just the sound on the X I wanted to think about. Yeah, in fact, if we started even larger and got smaller than that, I think it might be even better. Like 0.18. Yeah, that attracts your attention a little bit more. And I think I want this to be even a touch bigger. Yeah, there. Nice. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Let's go check that in. These are the kinds of things we're going to be doing over and over. Just one tiny modification to make it look a little better, and then a little better, and then a little better. Yeah. Nice, nice, nice. We don't want this in there. And we do want that. Cool. Okay, so improve the X for the shopkeep. It no longer has a circular border. It animates its scale, and we play a bonk sound when it shows up. Cool. All right, what next? What next? Leave a dead body outside their shop. Figured it's tagged a crime scene. Now thinking about including medieval police rope around the body. Yeah, I was thinking, what would you do? Actually, this is probably something people just know, right? Taking care of dead bodies is something pretty much every culture has had to do for all of history. So if this were roughly the year, let's say 1300 in humanity, and someone died outside your store, who would take care of the body? But I don't know the answer. I mean, some historian knows the answer, right? Is it you? Where do you put it? Do you call somebody? Did you have a telephone back then? I know the answer to that question. I don't know the answer to the other ones, though. All right, we need to do this on GitHub. Yeah, we still need to do that at some point. Add a path leading to the shop. I guess none of these are any more important than any other ones, except for maybe the terrain. Someone comes with a cart to collect. But do they just sniff out the body? Does someone tell them? Doesn't seem like anyone has fixed it, but there's many people mentioning it. Here's a nice set of QL plugins. Oh, this guy's done like a million different things. I'll write this down. I'm always a little, I don't know, weirded out by the quick look plugins. Okay, so add a path leading to the shop. The real thing we'd have to do here is start fixing up the terrain for all of these. And we have a lot of scenes to fix them up for. It's only in the wake up scene did we like fully plan out the whole design here. And I'm pretty happy with this. But then even in the next scene, which is what? Quest accepted? Yeah, like we just have the same few trees. So we need to make this look pretty. I also strongly, strongly dislike this quest accepted thing just appearing over the whole scene. So how about this? Let's add this as a, let's clean up the terrain, which we'll do later. And let's tackle other things. So the to-do list on GitHub, let's go take a look at that. Sure. I actually think it's in this document because I don't think I wrote anything on the actual, yeah, no, I didn't. All right, that's fine. There should be a to-do list on here. Add scene transition nodes. So we're done with this. Get the viewport to not look weird based on resolution, zoom, or window size. Oh, yeah. I don't know what's going to look best. Right now, we have this rectangular scene. The problem is that some people are going to see the extents of the rectangle. So what we could do is we could purposely put a border around it to sort of indicate that this is a window. Although that itself might look weird. Or we could render a whole bunch of land outside of this so that you never see the full bounds of this. And yeah, I don't know what's best. For the interior scene, it almost doesn't matter because a lot of games render interiors by just having blank space around the like extents of the walls. So yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna do with that. So I think we'll skip that one for now. Now what's this? Allow skipping the intro cutscene. Players should be able to skip by clicking a skip button somewhere or maybe holding escape. Dev should be able to skip when the debug flag is present. Could use this to skip. Yeah, I think we just add a button at the bottom left that says skip. I just wonder, maybe it should then change to say really skip afterward. Looks like a cutscene with black borders. You're saying even this doesn't look bad? Because there's another way we could kind of do this. Now that I think about it, actually check this out. What if we did this? Okay, so what if we add in a canvas modulate and we set this to black, and then we add in a point light and we set this to, that's weird. Why doesn't it let me quick load the texture? Huh, just didn't fill it in for some reason. We set this to this, we put this in the middle of the scene, and we make this large enough where it's going to naturally illuminate. Oh, there's probably no way to do that, is there? We could change the texture, I suppose. Yeah, we could change the texture. Just make it a solid white light. And then that in itself would kind of naturally only show some of this. I guess we could just do it like that. And then actually have the, I don't know. Because yeah, what I was imagining is if we did have a lot of terrain on the outside of this, then it just wouldn't be visible by virtue of the light. I don't see the difference between add and mix here. Mix too. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Once it has terrain, it looks good to me. Huh, interesting. Because yeah, I would need to see it. I can't picture it. Range. Oh, texture scale. I didn't realize that was a thing here. Oh, interesting. And a height. It's probably for shadows. Let's try a texture rect with a radial gradient instead. Yeah, I saw that written down from last time. I just haven't actually experimented. And I thought, okay, maybe this will work and look good. And yeah, maybe it will, but it'll take some experimenting. And I think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be a little tough. Let's try running the scene, just see what it looks like. I think it'll be bad. Also, we're lighting the quest accepted text too. Yeah, it looks just as bad as I thought it would. Okay, let's just ditch this then. We'll come back to that. So, skipping the cutscene. I think the easiest way, and maybe even the way we should go with, is have a skip button. Clicking it changes it to really skip, and then clicking that skips. So that way you don't accidentally click it, because you have to click it twice, and it's just a button. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. Gradient will get scaled on each axis independently, I assume, so all borders should have the same effect. Yeah. I'll need to test that. All right, so we need the skip button to be over everything. One thing to maybe also add is whatever the pause menu option is, we'll pause the cutscene. That I'm a little less concerned with. The pause button would typically be escape. And actually, I think escape would probably activate the skip button. Yeah. Yeah, I think no pause menu here is fine. What was the other thing I was going to say? Should escape skip the cutscene? I guess what happens when I'm playing a game? Yeah, I probably would mash escape. Okay, then yeah, I think that's reasonable. All right, let's go get this to work then. Intro, we add a button in the canvas layer. And we do this. Skip. Then we anchor it to the bottom left. Put that inside a panel container probably. Maybe holding it. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like some games have a bar that fills up that you need to hold it for as long as 2 or 3 seconds and then it skips. we only really have the one cutscene in the game. So whatever it is that we do here is not going to be something you're ever going to like need to learn or remember. So as long as it's obvious how you skip it, I think that's okay. But we'll also get some feedback on that too. All right, we need a theme for this. Quick load. Really anything. Yeah, skip there. Great. Okay, so if I just hit play, does this show up at the bottom left of every screen now? Yes. I'm just waiting for it to switch scenes. Yeah, nice. Okay, so I want it to be inlaid a little bit. That should be easy enough to do without even a margin container. We just set this to custom. And then instead of anchoring to a bottom of 1, we set it to like 0.9. And we set the left to 0.1. No, I don't like that. I think we'll just use a margin container. Oh, wait. Although we could use anchor offsets, couldn't we? Yeah, we could. So bottom -30 and left 30. There, nice. That looks pretty good. All right, so there's our skip button. Now we need to do something. Skip button. Let's go get that. Private button, skip button equals null. Okay, let me think about this. We have a button with sounds. How does that work? I think this requires us to have a town audio player. Yeah, town sound system. We don't have that. Well, let's not worry about the sounds on this button yet then. Okay, pressed plus equal on skip cutscene. All right, so what I was thinking is we change the text of that skip button to be like really skip. Private bool has clicked skip once. So if you haven't clicked it once, I guess if you have clicked it once, then we need to actually skip it here. To do skip the cutscene. And if you haven't, then set this to true and then change the text to really skip. All right, cool. So now how do we skip the cutscene? We need to do what we do at the very end of all of this, which is to transition to the town scene. So I guess we just do that. So this is more like transition into game. And then we hope that works. Yeah, we need dispose to be called on these scenes. So let's see if skipping works. Let's try that. Let's start with just that. So I should be able to click it. Turns to really skip. I click that. We're in the game. Cool. Okay, that's working. Now let's make sure the dispose is hit. So for the wake up scene, let's go add in a dispose function here. And then we're not even going to code it. We're just going to put a breakpoint there. I need this to be hit because there's a scene that changes the engine timescale. And if this doesn't get hit, then that means that we might have the timescale set lower than normal, which would be very frustrating. Good. Okay, perfect. Then we're fine. This is getting hit. Okay, anything else we want to do with that? I think we mentioned pressing escape should do something, so let's go do that. If you press UI cancel, then we're going to treat this as though you press the skip button. Oh, wait, whoa, something's missing. There. Oh, we already had unhandled input. Oh, and that quit the game. Okay, well, my bad. Yeah, well, now it's going to do this. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Cool. So I won't be able to quickly exit anymore. I'd have to press escape, and then quick game. So let's try it. I press it once, I press it twice, I press it a third time, I hit quit. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all we need to do. Let's just see how it looks now if we don't press skip. Is it distracting there? It's kind of just ignorable, I'd say. Although you might have the window be much smaller. In which case it'll cover part of the screen, but I think even that's fine. I wonder how small this window can be and still show everything. This size seems to work. Nice, nice. Working so well. Oh, this is great. Oh, now it doesn't work. We'd have to expand that a bit. Or just lower that text a little bit, maybe. Oh, it disappeared. This is great. This is great. Yeah, it's coming along. Okay, looks good. Add skip button. All right, so this is done. Next up, figure out what we're doing on game scale, do the sound design, attacks, etc. Should be easy enough. Probably want to cut the music, play a heartbeat effect. Yeah, so add a heartbeat effect. Add a heartbeat effect to when you're dying. Probably want to fade out the music. Could change pitch scale. Yeah, cool. All right, so all that stuff's pretty much done. All right, heartbeat effect. Let's go get that. So I use some CC0. Yeah, Command Q does close it. Yeah. I use some CC0 heartbeat effect for the Skeleseller app. Let's go find out where that is. Give me a sec. This will take a little bit of time because I don't know where I put this. Okay, here it is. Heartbeat dash 2929740. I want to find the exact website where I downloaded this. Wow, that was easy. All right, is this it? Yeah, and this is CC0. Free for use under the content license. Subject to this allows them to use it for free. User that have an attribute the author, modify or adapt. What are you not allowed to do? Cancel or distribute it on a standalone basis. Not doing that. It does not contain any logos or trademarks. That's fine. Can use it in a more illegal way. That's fine. Misleading or deceptive and part of a trademark. Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah, this should all be fine. Oh yeah, Boomer, how's your work on the Skeleseller app thing going? Whatever it is that you're doing. Because I don't actually know what you're doing. All right, so we're going to put this into our licenses thing. Assets. Heartbeat. You know, I'm actually going to keep the name of the file intact. 297400. Is that what happens when you click download on this? Because I already trimmed this. Yes, that is. So 297400. 297400 dot MP3. Should probably make this a wave, shouldn't I? What do we download it as? Although that probably doesn't matter, does it? As an MP3. Okay, fine. I'll make an MP3. Doesn't like the heartbeat section because it's used as a tempo change. I mean, I could just remove that if you want. I don't mind doing that. Yo, Ghost, all is going pretty well. Comes from here. Okay, so we're going to take the heartbeat and we're going to plop this into the game. I guess we put this in town. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Why, I have some errors in the debug console? Are you talking about these? I'm not totally sure. I always assume this was just Godot problems. This stuff might not be, but anyway, I haven't really looked into it. Okay, so where do we want to play the heartbeat? It's when you're dying. Let's go to intro and skip to what I'm working on. Oh, wait, this is technically not accurate. The way, oh, I just quit. The way this is supposed to work is slow music will have been called in the last scene. Okay, so we need to start from the scene before this. And we need to see what all that's going to feel like. Ugh, I don't like that. So you're battling a slime. And the music slows. I think the music should have just like faded out completely. Yeah. I think it should have. We have slow music here. Then I think we want it to come to a halt. So slow music changes. Yeah, okay, so let's just make a slow and then stop music or something. What am I doing? Intro shop. We have a stop music somewhere. I guess we're just deleting this. Yeah, so where's stop music? Now nothing calls this. Nope, nothing calls this. Right, so delete that. And in slow music, change this tween so that after fully slowing it down, it takes 5 seconds to do that. Then we'll lower the volume down to 0. Tween property. I want to change the volume, but I don't know. It might be volume underscore dB. I'm not actually sure what it's called. Let's go find out. Volume dB cache name for the volume dB property name. I didn't know this stuff existed, did I? Maybe I did. Huh. Let's use that then. Property name dot volume. Where's that come from? Hey Crypt. Mind sharing how or where you're hosting this cloud? This is just a single player game. So it's hosted on game hosting websites like Itch and Steam. If it were multiplayer, then yeah, I'd need some server running somewhere. But yeah, it's just single player. So it's like any other game you probably downloaded before. Each type may have its own property name. Yeah, but the part I missed here is where are those property names? This is inside of audio stream player. I see. Audio stream player property name volume dB. Okay, now how long should it take this thing to... Can't convert from string name? You got to do 2 string on this? All right, this should go to 0, and it should be over the course of 2 seconds. Let's try that out. Also, welcome to Stream Crypt. Now, let's see. Well, that didn't work. What happened there? Tween property volume dB does not exist. How dare you? Does the music player have it? Oh, the music player has it. Okay, my bad. It's not the stream playback that has it. All right, that should work. Node path.from property. Okay, I'll take a look at that in a sec. Still not working. We close to release? No, I don't think so. It didn't complain about it. But yeah, for whatever reason, this didn't actually change the volume level. Maybe because the thing is already playing, but it wasn't on the stream playback, was it? Music player.get stream playback. This is audio stream polyphonic. Volume? There's no volume, yeah. It's not linear, so 0 is not what you'd expect. Oh, yeah, that's possible. Find it annoying hearing the same music over and over? Yeah. Although, actually, I have been quite a fan of the music I might work on later this afternoon. This one's coming along pretty well. But we'll get to that. I might do some battle music, too. I'm not sure. But I think we'll probably do music in the afternoon. Okay, so 1, we have some function. Maybe I wrote about it here. Decibels. dB. Oh, God. It's in here somewhere. I'm gonna find this. It's not there. Okay, I don't remember where this is. I know it's in one of these notes. It could be anywhere. Here it is. Linear to dB and dB to linear. Okay, so we use one of these somewhere. dB to linear. Wait, what? We definitely should be using one of these somewhere. dB2. Linear 2. Oh, it's spelled out? Are you kidding me? It's spelled out in C sharp, but it's not spelled out in GDScript? The word 2? So I was searching for it in such a way I would almost never have found it. Yeah, here we go. These are in math F dot in C sharp, and the 2 is spelled out. E.g. Yeah, there we go. All right. So where do we use this? This is when playing something for the first time. Play stream has a volume dB. Get volume in dB. Yeah, I want this to go down to 0. I mean, I guess we could just set this like negative 99999 or something. That'll probably mess things up. So this should be a private or a public static float. Actually, it doesn't need to be. What am I talking about? We could just do this. So instead of this thing, we set it to this. Linear to dB 0. All right, now we hope that works. Let's just call slow music right off the bat. Where do we play music in the first place? Right there. Yeah, so sound system dot slow music. That way we just have to wait 7 seconds. I don't need to do anything special. Seemed like it cut out pretty rapidly. It couldn't have been correct, right? We're tweening down to 0 over the course of 2 seconds. What if I make this 10 seconds? What if I make this be 0.1 seconds just so that it's faster? So we should just hear it slowly get quieter over 10 seconds. No, it just immediately goes there for some reason. Why is it doing that? Okay, let me take a look at something here. Audio stream player has a volume dB property, which is that. I'm gonna put this in here, even though I'm nearly positive that it's the same thing. Why would this not work? Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know how this could fail. How about we get rid of the pitch tweening and just hear? Do we even hear any music at all? I wouldn't have expected tween method to be needed, given that this should just be a float in the end. Yeah, this returns a float. So there shouldn't be any problem with this. Let's try something else here. Let's do this. Let's do... Oh, you know what we could do? We could lower the bus sound. But let's do music player dot volume equals 0.5. See what that sounds like. Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, fine. Let's do that. All right, so tween method. Let's just copy paste this. It'll be easier. Okay, so this is going to be volume. Then we're going to do music player, volume dB, like that. And we're going to go from whatever it currently is, which might be difficult to get because we need this, but then we need it linear. So mathf.db to linear, like that. And we want it to go down to 0. So we just type 0. And over the course of 10 seconds. All right. That should hopefully work. Yeah, nice. Cool. Yeah, this is just C sharp, but yes, you can mix the two. All right, so I said I wanted to be over 2 seconds. I don't know what's going to sound good here, so let's just listen. And when it sounds good, then we just move on. So this is 2 seconds. So it's going to pitch shift over 5 and then become silent over 2. Oh, Boomer, thanks for the gifted subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And welcome in, everybody. Okay, I think it should be a little bit faster if we're going to do it that way. Yeah. Yeah, that is incredibly kind of you, Boomer. You ported the iPad Shuffle and fulfilled the fantasy for some of us? Sorry, it's only coming in the Nano. And you're going to have to manually pitch shift the music there. Okay, let's try this. I think we should be good. Let's have a listen. It's really hard to tell what I want to do here. I'm going to try making it longer this time. Well, thanks for saying so, Boomer. Yeah, by the way, thanks for taking the feedback well yesterday. I was like, man, I think it was Mark Twain who said something like, I would have written a shorter letter, but I didn't have enough time. I feel that way with feedback sometimes. Like there's the incredibly unfiltered and blunt stuff, and then there's like minor filtering, and then there's incredibly filtered. And depending on who you're talking to, you might need to apply a different amount of filtering. So anyway, I'm glad it went well. Okay, that's much better. Yeah. I like that a lot. Wow. So 3 seconds is the right amount. Cool. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take this out of here and try it in the actual scene now. So let's see what that feels like. Yeah. So right around there is where the heartbeat sound should play. Because that's where the music will have totally cut out. And we want to like fade in the heartbeat sound, I think. May hurt, but you know they're right. So this is what I think is really tough about making content online. And this is probably true of really any saturated field, which is like people are going to do this anyway, regardless of pay. And there's only so much demand and attention. And this is true with like what I'm doing with game dev, right? So there are people making games who are doing it for free, and they're going to produce a game, and some of those games are going to be good, and they might not charge a lot because they were going to make the game anyway. And me, as someone who is trying to make this game and hopefully make some money off of it, it's like I'm still competing with those same people. And yeah, it's very tough. And there's, I don't know. I feel like when I was working on Botland, there's like a fun versus business amount that everyone's doing this for, right? Like some people are more toward the fun side of things and some people are more toward the business side. I was definitely more toward the fun side of things. And as a result, I made some kind of dumb business decisions. Anyway, because I was doing it for fun, I was still meeting my goals and it was still an enjoyable time. But I think the bad thing is when your expectations aren't aligned and you do it for fun and just kind of trust that the business part will come, let's say, and it doesn't necessarily happen. So yeah, I think with content creation, it's kind of similar. It's like, it's not just produce content and there will be viewers. And that's, I guess, kind of unfortunate, but there's this gold rush at the beginning of every platform where people are just trying to be the first. And by being the first, sometimes that's all it takes. And now you've cemented your lead and now you'll get more viewers and it'll just be like a, what do they call it? A virtuous cycle. This is actually a term. I read this online. Yeah. Yeah. Positive feedback loop. Hey, James. Okay. So heartbeats, how are we going to get this to work? Let me think about this. Well, here's what I think we're gonna end up doing. I think I'm gonna have the heartbeat sound play at whatever we determine the right time is. Oh, we're gonna have to time this with how long the music takes to fade out. So maybe somewhere around here. And we need to see how long this track is in total. Open with Audacity. So the actual, ooh, that's not good. I thought we trimmed this, but I trimmed it in FL Studio apparently. I only want to play like this part of it. All right, which one sounds the best? They probably all sound the same. Yeah, they pretty much sound the same. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what we take. And how long do I have selected here? From like 2.4 up to 3.1 or something? What is this scale? 2.6 is apparently where the... Okay, so I have like a third of a second selected. Yeah, I think I have a third of a second selected. Okay, so then we could probably play a few of these. Although, if you're about to die due to poison, how many beats per minute would your heart be at? Yeah, let's play like... Well, let's just do it by ear. But probably like 1 per second, I think. Still the opening cutscene? Yeah. So I want to trim this down. We could trim it down by only playing a portion of it inside the game. But yeah, I think it's easier to just pull a sound file out that is exactly just a single heartbeat. I want to zoom in on this. And I want to figure out where exactly does the beat part sound here, I guess. So this. Yeah, that's good. Could be slower, fast. Yeah, exactly. All right, export audio. Hopefully this is just the selection. Current selection, there we go. Yeah, so this is the single heartbeat. Good. Now let's go get single heartbeat and put that in a game. And probably write that under licenses as well. Single heartbeat dot wave. All right. Good. All right, let's go to sound ID and get something like intro heartbeat. This is going to be, oh, did I put this in the game? In town. Okay, town, single heartbeat. Procedural meshes. Oh man, yeah, I haven't done anything with that. Okay, so now we want to play this. I want to play this every so often and have it get louder over time. So yeah, I think we should do this through code. Which would mean that intro shop would need to connect to intro to do this. Oops, just nudge my keyboard. Public void play heart or like start heartbeat sounds. Intro dot start heartbeat sounds. Oh, if you skip the cutscene, we got to stop all these tweens that are happening. Oh, which means stopping the tween for the engine scale. I didn't even think about that. Oh boy. Oh boy, yeah. I gotta save this off, huh? Otherwise, it's possible if you skip the intro right at this moment, it's gonna break everything. I don't know for sure that that's even possible. I should test that. Time scale. Did I call it engine scale? Where is this? Oh, here it is. It I need to make sure the tween either gets disposed on its own or that I take care of it myself. Yeah, because that would be unfortunate. There'd be no way for you to fix it. Or what were we doing? We're gonna start a tween for the heartbeat thing. We're gonna need to stop all that stuff too. Maybe it automatically stops itself. Yeah, because we disposed the audio players that were there. So yeah, I guess it shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Let's go make this function then. Okay, so I think I want to start a timer that plays the heartbeats. Private timer, or I guess heartbeat timer. It's dumb. This is dumb. What am I doing? We need play sound to be able to customize the volume level that it plays at. We have play here. Does this let us change the volume? No, we don't have a way of passing it in. Sound data.volume. I mean, we could technically change that on the fly. That would be a massive abuse of what we've done over here. The dictionary is read-only, but the sound data isn't read-only. Wait, yes it is. Okay, fine. We'll write this the right way. Yeah, we'll write this the right way. All right, this will be a little bit tedious. Private timer, heartbeat timer, I guess. Okay. So when we call start heartbeat sounds, we're going to make this timer equals new. One shot equals false. Add child timer. Start it every second. On timeout, add a thing that is going to call play sound on the single heartbeat. Now, why is that failing? Sound ID doesn't have single heartbeat when I call it intro heartbeat. Yeah. All right, so that's just going to play forever. We got to stop this at some point. Maybe we keep track of how many times it's triggered. And after, or we just have a stop call. Well, it's when you die, this should definitely stop. In fact, let's just do that. Stop. I hope that ends up working out just fine. All right, so now we build this. Do you have a command that shows your Git workflow just to compare to my own? Not really, but you've probably seen me do it a bunch. I tend to write commit messages in here and then just publish a branch or merge or use GitHub after that. And then I use the GH tool, which is GitHub's, I think they called it Hub before. I don't know what they call it now. Maybe just command line interface for it. But I use that for pull requests. So if you ever see me do something like this, this checks out a pull request. It's just a little easier to work with. But then, yeah, I tend to do things like git pull, git push, those sorts of things from the command line. Any of these commands, stash, I guess, log. Yeah, I use the command line for a decent amount. All right, so I don't need this anymore. This was just to see how long this was. And it's about 1/3 of a second, which is probably going to feel okay in the game. I don't know. All right, so it's play no potion sound. Then we want to start heartbeats somewhere. I don't know where. So let's just add this in anywhere. And maybe it sounds good. And maybe we need to move it. That was wrong. Did not mean to do that. Call method on intro shop. Paste this here. Heartbeat. And put it in there. Sure. All right, so the volume needs to be tweened. We have not done that part yet. That's going to be a little bit annoying, but let's try this for now. Okay, that's good, but the heartbeat is way too fast. Cut it in half. Hey, Krasner. Yeah, and Ghost, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I certainly don't mind clarifying this stuff. Maybe we don't even need to change the volume of it. Maybe just having it be at max volume is fine. I guess let's try it again. Again, we're just listening for the heartbeat. It plays the battle scene, then it transitions to the one that has the heartbeats. Okay, I think it needs to start sooner. Star heartbeat sounds like here. Yeah, let's try that again. No, I wanted to have it even sooner than that. Why isn't it? There's only one other second in this scene. I guess because it's still fading in. No, the fade in happens. Let's start it here, I guess. In which case we don't even need a function call. We can just do it from the code. That's better. So we fit 3 heartbeats in. Your heartbeats always freaks me out. I mean, that's sort of the point. I hate to lose. They feel slow? I don't think they feel slow. Yeah, you're dying from poison, and you've been moving slowly the whole time. I think that part's okay. I do think I want them to fade in slightly, which if we're going to do that, then we need to pass in a volume level to this, which means we need to pass in a volume level of this, which means we need one into this. And then we need to probably multiply the percent times that attenuation percent. Feel like they should get slower instead of a constant rate. I think that just them getting louder, I think would probably feel good to me. I recognize there are lots of ways you can do this. And I think only 3 of these are going to play anyway, possibly only 2 if we have them get slower. So there's not a lot of wiggle room there. But do I want to change this and have it be customizable? I guess we already have this here. I could just shortcut this and call into the audio stream myself and allow me to customize this. I don't think that's a good idea. But I think allowing you to manually change the volume is also potentially not a good idea. But I'm about to do it. So I don't know. Volume percent equals 1. Yeah, so we just do this times this. Done. We put this into basically everything. Volume percent. And we have this play at an increasing rate. All right, so heartbeat volume percent. Private float heartbeat volume percent. So let's start it at 0.5. Start heartbeat sounds and pass that in. And have it go up every time it plays. Clamp this to plus 0.25. Clamp between, I guess we don't need a clamp, it's only ever going up. There's the minimum of this in 1. There we go. Let's try that. That's pretty good. Yeah, I like this. Okay, cool. Yeah, the thing about heartbeats getting faster too, like that is one way we could do this. I just I like how this is playing out right now. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I don't know why that changed. Why did that change? What did I do? And where is that? It's on the skip button. Oh, because I used custom. Although that should have been modified already. I'm not totally sure why that changed, but I don't care. So it's all fine. This isn't needed. Good. Nah. We don't really need to change this either. So start heartbeat sounds is done so close to the beginning of the scene that we could just do it at the very beginning of the scene. What is the actual time on this? 0.13 seconds. So it's like a tenth of a second. It's probably indistinguishable, but I'll leave it how it is. I think it's fine. All right, cool. All right, so what do we do here? Make dying sound better. Faded out the music after shifting pitch and played heartbeats of increasing volumes. Or with increasing volume. Yeah. You started during the transition. You're already losing health on the previous scene. I could, yeah, but I wanted it to be... Actually, maybe that would sound good. All right, let's commit this first. And then let's see what that would sound like. Because the timer would then have to be in the intro scene. Yeah. Yeah, so this is going to be a decent enough change. Well, let's go try that out. Well, Ghost, how long have you been doing this for? Because I was going to say a lot of it just comes with time and like a sort of a willingness to improve. And also, I am writing kind of like hacky level code. It's just for the intro. We don't really need to maintain this all that much. And it's only this one time we do this anyway. All right, start heartbeat sound. So this would go over to here. Then stopping the heartbeat timer is something we need to do. Stop heartbeat sounds. Yeah. It had the code I wanted. Yeah, there we go. All right, then this changes. And then we change this to be deleted. This whole thing to be deleted, I guess. And then the previous scene needs to start the heartbeats. What is the previous scene called? Accept quest. So after you are dying, here's where we switch to the next scene. But we play the poison thing. Oh, wait, no, this isn't where you die. You die in the intro battle. Or no, you don't die. You get poisoned, I mean. You get poisoned in the intro battle. Yeah, so somewhere there's a poison thing here. You say, I need an antidote. Maybe roughly around here is where we start playing the heartbeat. Yeah, that probably makes sense. All right, intro battle. Really only about a year. Think of making a career change in software development. Nice. Yeah. And like I said, cut yourself some slack. A year is not a super long time in terms of software development. And you're probably still getting the hang of things. And also, the longer you work on an individual project, the more comfortable you'll feel making changes to that project. You'll set precedents for things and make fixtures for things. Start heartbeat sounds. Okay, so this is just going to call it intro.start heartbeat sounds. We rebuild this, and then we can call this from over here. Do we already have a... Yeah, we do. But I should probably add another track for that. Add another call method track to here. Start heartbeat sounds. And then because we are starting them earlier, how many seconds extra do we have now? Where do we go to the next scene? There. So we added an extra like 4 seconds, it looks like. So then maybe what we should do is instead of starting it at 0.5, we started at 0.4 and only have it go up by 0.1 each time. I don't know if that's going to work. And let's print out the heartbeat volume so that we know what we're getting to, because we should get to 1. And I don't know if we have time for 6 or not. So let's see what that sounds like. I think we'll have time for 5 maybe. It's not bad. I actually want it slowed down a little bit. I still feel like the heartbeats are too fast. And then maybe we started at, where do we get to? Yeah, we only got to 0.9, but I slowed it down anyway, so now it's going to be different. Let's set it to go 5.15. All right, now we skip directly to the battle scene, which is this. Let me try that. This is, by the way, this is going to be very characteristic of today, like repeating the same thing over and over and over and just trying to make it better. So if this is up your alley, then by all means keep watching, but if it's not going to get any better. Oh, you know what's happening? Oh my God, I realize now. I want the heartbeat to play as soon as we call this function. But we're starting a timer that's going to then wait 2.5 seconds. So I wanted to trigger immediately. I wonder how we can do that. I mean, I guess I could just call the... Yeah, I guess I can just call this. Private void play heartbeat sound. Done, dun, dun, done. A heartbeat sound, and then play one immediately. That was supposed to have the rest of that there. Easy. So that'll give us an extra heartbeat, though. Yeah, whatever, let's see. Yeah, I still want that to be a tiny bit slower. And probably a tiny bit better ramp up. So like maybe we start at 3.5 and we go up by 1.8. Making some micro adjustments now. Yeah, so now the final heartbeat plays like right before you die. So if we slow that down just a tiny bit more, then it shouldn't happen. So the last time your heart beats is like a second and a half before you die again. Yeah, it's pretty good. Look at that lighting effect. Actually, we should probably have the lighting effect flicker a bit, huh? Because the torch wouldn't be perfectly even. Oh, curse this polish. Curse this polish. Okay, where is that? Intro shop. Why does this still look faded out? Do you see that tooltip when you, or sorry, the preview when you hover over this, the thumbnail? It's darkened. That's what it used to look like. I guess it doesn't recache what it looks like now. All right, so we turn on the lighting and then we want to make this flicker. And I think the way we'd make it flicker is by changing just the scale. This is set to 0.9. We could just change this 0.9 and then tweak this a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna be really hard to do with the mouse. But if I change it from 0.9 to like 0.91 and then back to 8.9 and just have it pick random values within that, it'll probably look like it's flickering. Alternatively, we could change the energy slightly. This we could kind of... No, that wouldn't look like flickering. Is there anything else that would make it look like flickering? Yeah, I think just the texture scale. Okay, that's in what, intro shop, and that's after we show the lighting, and then we just show the lighting inside of the animation player. So I guess we can just tween this inside the animation player too, huh? Where's the lighting stuff? Oh, that's after death. Here it is. So this gets made visible. Then we need to add a property track for the lights texture scale. And we add... Is there an easy way to do this, I wonder? There's some like ping pong thing, isn't there? No, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, fine. Well, let's just change this, I guess. So this will go to, I don't know, 0.95. Let's just see what that looks like. Wait, that's as we're still fading in the modulate background. So it's right around here that we want to do this. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. And then we just like kind of arbitrarily put in different points. So like there, there, there. All right, how's that look? Yeah, right. I think it's decent. We just kind of keep doing that the rest of the way now. Actually, I probably could just copy pasted these. Let's see. This is other, same, other, same, other. Let's take all those. Cool. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, it's pretty good. All right. Yeah, nice. All right, so thank you for the suggestion, Toulouse. I think this is good. That's not right. That's not right at all. We need to go back to the reset scene and then save this, and then that won't get changed. Tisk, tisk. All right, so we did a couple of different things, and I only want to check in the related parts. Put that back to where it was. Put that back to where it was. Rest of this stuff is fine. All right, so heartbeat sounds. This is intro shop. So intro shop is checked in. We're just doing the heartbeat stuff for now. That's heartbeat stuff. This is heartbeat stuff. I should probably write a comment there. The heartbeats span multiple scenes. So we need to keep track of the timer here. Sure. Yeah. All right, and then one of these is not heartbeat stuff. It's the other one. Yeah. This is... No, part of this is heartbeat stuff. Oh, God. Fine, whatever. We'll just check them both in. Polish heartbeats and light flickering. Good. What's next? Intro battle. Labels should be in the canvas layer, not in camera coordinates. Yeah, so I think this is one of the weakest parts of the things that I did here, which is that quest accepted text just shows up in screen space, or sorry, in camera space. It's gigantic. Here. Yeah, this. It's just text that appears over everything. I wonder if we should fade in a black rectangle across the screen and say quest accepted, like we do for the level up banner. I think it would maybe look a little bit better, but we don't have a lot of time to do that. How long do we have? The text shows up, and then we switch to the next scene in a little less than 2 seconds, and then it'll fade out. So if we have another animation playing, you need time to see what that is. But at least then it wouldn't look like it's in the world. Would you show one of the in-game notifications on the side? I don't like. I thought about this a little while ago, and it doesn't feel right. It looks like something that would break the immersion of this happening in the game, I think. Especially because normally those things are clickable. But also your focus might not be there, especially if you're on a big monitor. I think I do want to try the banner over the middle of the screen. Let's write that down. Maybe we just use the concept of the level up banner and do that for the quest. All right. So how do we do that? Defeated elite banner. So we have a color rectangle, an animation player. This thing has the banners slide in from the side. We would say quest accepted. We have it slide out from the other side. It could just actually it could just say quest accepted and then not slide out. The whole scene just fades out. Dialogue of the main character saying something. All right, so stream of consciousness here. I think the dialogue would cover the guildmaster because you'll have moved up here. You'll have a dialogue, and they'll just say something like "my first quest" or something, or and then you'd wonder like why do they communicate in pictures? I think I like this idea, and I want to try it out at least. So let's go just plug this in and see what it looks like. So here's a color rectangle. This is presumably already set to cover the whole screen. No, it's off the screen. Why don't I see this anywhere? It doesn't have a size or anything? What? Yeah, what? Oh, because it's anchored to the full rectangle, and this one isn't. But it's anchored to the full rectangle of the parent, and the parent has a size. Ugh. Okay, so let's copy the whole thing then. Oh, now it's a scene that we copied? I don't want to do that. I want to copy it as... I didn't even know you could do that. You can instantiate a scene that way. I can't get this to... Okay, whatever. Make local. There we go. That's what I wanted. All right, unfortunately, this looks a little broken now. We want it to have the same transform as this. Can I copy the whole layout? I cannot. Can I copy this whole thing? Strange. Yeah, it looks like it should be working. But it's... Huh. This is set to autoplay. Yeah, it would just appear. Yeah, let's just see what happens if I run this scene. I don't think it's going to show in the right location. No, it's up and off to the left. Man. And what happened here? Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Oh, because this was loaded independently of the camera. Yeah. Huh. All right, well, whatever. I guess we could just rebuild this. So what's this doing? It's anchoring in all the right spots that I thought it should be. We also have a position and a size here. Did this get those? It did not. Guys, let's copy those things too. Copy, paste, paste. All right, that's where I wanted that. Nice. Now the text label probably shouldn't have rainbow text for it, but it should have pretty large text saying quest accepted. Oh, wait a second. There's a way to maximize this, right? Yeah. Nice. We can do that. All right. We want this. Quest accepted. Excuse me. All right. So the animation player will then. It's not sliding this in. Which means I messed up the anchors. But how? What are we trying to change here? We're trying to change anchor left and anchor right. Anchor left and right. Huh. Doesn't even have an effect. And also that just messed up. Yuck. Oh, you can't even copy them? Negative 1.5, 0.5. Negative 1.5, 0.5. Why does this not animate this then? It means I messed something else up. Is this not set to full rectangle? It is. There's some other difference here. All right, let's just look at them like this. Intro, accept quest, and what was the other one? Defeated elite banner. And the thing I want to look at is the control, which is this. So how does this differ from, this is the elite. And we should have my new control over here, which still has the wrong name. What's different? Anchor preset is different. And the offsets are different. How? How did I mess this up? Anchor preset is set to custom, and this is set to custom. Yeah, it is different. Negative 95, 95. I think. What am I doing? Oh well. All right, let's go change this then too. I guess this is why we should have ended on reset here, so this thing doesn't get messed up. Negative 1.50, 0.5. Those are fine. Those are fine. The size is totally broken. Position is negative 19, 24, 45. It won't retain the, oh, there it goes. Okay, does that work finally? No, still no. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. There's, okay, well now I guess we can compare the two of these things because I at least changed this a lot. So here's the one that I'm using. Layout mode is the same. For whatever reason, anchor preset is not the same. But anchor top is, anchor right the same, bottom the same. Offsets are different. The only thing I could think then is that we're supposed to put an anchor preset to 14 for some reason, which I'm about to type, and we're going to see what that does. And did that fix anything? Wait, did I change the wrong scene? No, I did not. Okay, no clue. Maybe it's where we added to the screen. What's not working? This isn't sliding in. When we do add the level up banner, defeated elite banner, where do we put this thing? We add it in the UI. So this probably just needs to be in a canvas layer the whole time then. We just don't have a canvas layer here. Canvas layer. And by doing that, we would have just broken something here. Yeah, how fun. All right, well, we can probably just set this back to what it used to be by just copy pasting all of this. How does that look? Possibly correct now. Hey, look at that. Nice. Cool. All right, so that's what I wanted. And now we need to figure out if it actually looks good. So the animation player shouldn't kick off automatically. We're going to set that back to not autoplay. Then this one, when we attempt to show the quest accepted label, we're going to instead change the current animation to be show. Then we delete this track for now, and we try this out. So I want to go to the accept quest scene. So we want to be done with the wake up scene and cut this stuff out. Yeah, let's try that. All right, that took me a while. And this is just a test if it looks better. We don't actually know if it's going to. Well, that's bad. Why is that? Why does it look like that? Because shouldn't this be off the screen? Oh, I guess it doesn't know what the reset points are. Ah, fine. All right, that should be easy enough to fix. Because it should be custom, and we should be able to set this to 0 and this to -1. And then run this. Still broken. It's like the reset value doesn't know what to reset to. It doesn't. How do you get this to know? Man. Fine. I'll set it in here then. There. Now try and tell me that's wrong. Okay. I think that is pretty good. I just think it's too large. But cutting down the size should be pretty easy. Instead of 96, we can set this to 72. Instead of this being maybe as large as it is, we can make it a little bit smaller. Transform. Can we just shrink this? Yeah, but then it's not centered. Although maybe we can set this back to full rectangle afterward. No, that's setting. Oh, it's because I have this size set to 190. We can just shrink this, right? Yeah, how's that look? I think pretty good. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. May not be vertically centered. I wasn't sure if it would change that. Yeah, it's not. Top, bottom. I guess we just increase this by whatever the difference is. 47 pixels. So 23. That's not right. Looks good. Set anchor offsets to 0. Oh. Oh, no, just set these to be equal to each other. I see. So back when this was 190, they were set to -95, 95. So I want to set them to something like -72, 72. Yeah, there we go. Back from Adland. All right, so this all looked fine. Now all we need to do is just make sure that this hides itself after some amount of time. And it would normally slide off the right side of the screen. So one way of doing this would be to just take all these points and just move them inward. Something like that. That might be too soon, I don't know. But let's see how that looks. Yeah, It's not too soon. In fact, we can even make it sooner. Just drag that. Oh, why can't we drag this? What is going on right now? I just dragged these like this. What? Let me reopen the scene. Well, now it's working. Don't know what did that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, I think I like that. Could we make this show up any sooner now? So you are talking to this NPC, and then accept, excuse me, accept quest shows right there. Yeah, we could start this a little bit sooner. How do we move this now? Yeah, there. All right, let's try one more time. I just changed this by a very small amount, like 2 frames or something probably. Yeah, okay, love it. I am very glad that that turned out to be what I think we needed there, because I thought that was a very bad looking scene. Oh, speaking of, we can now get rid of the quest accepted label, which should automatically delete the related animation track. It did. And then anywhere that we use that, we need to also delete. So what was that called? Quest accepted label. Quest accepted label. Yeah, no, it's gone. Okay. Pretty good, pretty good. All of this was just to improve that one thing. I mean, some of these positions changed slightly, which is very scary to me. So I think what I accidentally did is I forgot to go back to reset here. Now that shouldn't be so scary. God. All right, let's just start with this. What is going on here? We now have another reset value there. That's fine. This is fine. Yeah, we changed the number of tracks. That's all okay. This is a totally new animation player. That's fine. What we have here. This is, yeah, this is wrong. What's going on here? Main character position changed. Oh, it doesn't have the reset value in here. Oh, God. All right, there's a way to do this, and I don't know how to do it. We need to click add reset values, but it doesn't like that. It doesn't like that at all. Do I have to select something and then click add reset value? No. How do I do this? Oh, no. I don't know how. I don't know what this button is supposed to do. Add reset values. There's also apply reset down here. I know I'm kind of blocking it a bit. But what if I click this? What does this do? Oh, I think I know what it does. I think it takes whatever's in reset and applies it to the current scene. I don't know how to get this position to make it into reset value. Because that's supposed to be 219. Wait. Yeah, what? Hold on. Then where'd this 189 come from? Let's just play the scene again. Does it look fine? If it looks fine, I'll probably just check it in. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, lower that dialogue. The flicker's looking great. Oh, did it just stop? No, it didn't stop. All right, and that's too long. So lower the shop dialog and make 1 month later show up sooner. Lower shopkeep's humorous dialogue and make 1 month later show up sooner. So maybe like 25 days later. So this is done. Hey, Oakleys. A film. Man, if we were making lots and lots of cutscenes in the game, we would need a language to be able to do this more easily. And it kind of made me wonder, like, if I were doing this in GDScript, would that just be the language? And we would just reach our filthy hands into wherever they need to be. Who cares about private variables? All right, so yeah, some of this stuff got modified. I'm not going to pay too much attention to that. Now, this is unusual. None of this stuff should have changed. So let's just delete all of that. And then the only other change that I recall that we have to make is to not call this defeated elite banner. It's going to be accepted quest banner. Good. Okay. Polish accepted quest. Before this, it was showing in camera space. So it was blurry, a bit blurry. And now it shows as a banner, sort of like when you defeat an elite enemy. You also be able to set up the animation player keys from code. Yeah, but I don't think we really have the need. I think the only other cutscene we're going to have in the game is the end. And I think the end is going to be way easier than this stuff. It's basically going to be a character walking up to your shop and then some dialogues, and then we cut to the credits. Whereas this one had like a battle playing out, poison, timing, changing music and everything. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to just keep working through this stuff. I want to spend another maybe, let's say, an hour and a half or so on this. And then I think I want to work on music in the afternoon. Yeah, so whatever else we can do. Yeah, this is already done. Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Wrecked. Oh man. All right, close the game. Close the game. I saw Kevin spring into action. What's going on? Okay, there it goes. Yeah, okay, lower their dialogue. Let's go do that. Intro shop. So there's something here that says position it in screen space. Yeah, this. If it's a skeleton dialogue, otherwise it's this one. Yeah, this is being put in screen coordinates. This is bad. Well, the 20 is bad. I think the 20 should be here. Yeah. Or even 10 pixels or something. I don't know what. Vector 2 dot up times 20. Let's take a look at that. Hey, Half, how's it going? Now I want to look at the shop scene, which is the final scene. Oh, that print shouldn't be there. There. Okay, let's try that. Unfortunately, it's toward the end of the scene, so we got to watch the whole thing. But all I did is lower the position of the shopkeep's dialogue. We want to fade in the skip button too. Okay, let's take a picture. That is way too high up. I don't know why that happened though. Right here. 20 pixels up. And then the size of the dialogue. This is one tile right here. So we basically just put this over here. Oh, wait a second. I think I know what's going on. Oh, yeah. I have a position set inside the scene itself. And that position is there. So it's taking this and it's going 20 pixels above that, which is probably what we ended up with here. Does that look correct? So that point is like right there. And then we went 20. Yep, that's definitely what's happening. Okay, so we want it to be above the shopkeep. So the shopkeep is there. They want like 20 pixels above their head. So now that should work. Yeah, perfect. Love it. All right, fade in the skip button. All right, let's go check this in. I guess we want to check this in. Remove print statement. Okay, so then we want to check that and that. Reposition shopkeep's dialogue. It was too high in the scene, and I was computing the coordinates in the wrong spaces. Cool. All right, make 1 month later show up sooner. All right, that happens from this. 1 month later, where are you? Here? Yes, there you are. 1 month later. Okay, so we want this to show up sooner, which means the switch to next scene should also be sooner. So what is this? We're changing the background color. So it fades out. And then it's fully faded out at 16.42. And we don't show 1 month later until like 1.5 seconds after. So I think shaving just a half second off of this is probably fine. So this can be minus 0.5. This can be minus 0.5. This can be minus 0.5. Okay, let's try that. See how the timing feels. Remember, the sound effects, the music, all that was set in a previous scene. So by starting on this scene, it's going to sound wrong. But I don't care about the sounds right now. I care about just, does it feel like we're waiting too long for 1 month later to show up? It still feels too long. Actually, maybe not. Oh, God. I gotta play that whole thing out just to see that again. I mean, I guess we could just skip to this part of the animation. Alternatively, we could just hit play here and see whatever does happen. It's not bad. If I were to move it at all, I'd move it very slightly. And then right around here, we would have switched to the next scene anyway. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. Yeah, I think it's good. Okay. Make 1 month later show up sooner. I just changed it by what, half a second? Yeah. The reason you're previewing it in game simply to get a better picture, or are there things that won't work when you scrub through the timeline? There are a bunch of little things that are different. So as an example here, you see how the scene is up here, but here we're fading like 4 times that amount. So it's little things like that that are different. And then also it's the same reason why even if I type a string like hi there, we know what these words are. We know there's no typo. And yet seeing it in the context of the game is sometimes still just more illuminating. Okay, so that's fine. Fade in the skip button. Okay, where do we do that? The skip button's in intro. I want to fade it in, so let's just do it through intro, right? Skip button, there we go. Okay, so fade functions, fade in, skip button. Oh yeah, I guess it's like the whole scene does, right? It should be fine. Why did that feel like it was different? 2 seconds. Let me turn this off for a second. Let me see. I'm not sure why that felt bad. No, I think it's fine. Okay. Let's check that in then. Fade in the skip button. Hey, Crazy, it's going really well. We've pretty much gotten the intro done, and now we're just polishing it. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Trying a dialogue to the second scene, even though it doesn't need one. May want to convert what I did to the interior. I'm not going to do that. Art, we need character sleeping and a thumbs up. Can I see? Yeah, sure. I will show you the whole cutscene. So take a look. Anyone who hasn't seen, pay attention now. It's 1 minute long. Then you'd be in the tutorial. So yeah, that's what we have so far. And yeah, there's a little bit of polish we need to do here. Then there's a lot of polish for the terrain. Character sleeping graphics. So this is for the very first scene. Let's take a picture. Cool scene editing and transitions. The transitions of just fading in and out aren't too bad to do because it's just using a tween for the what's going on here. It's just using a tween for the transparency, and I can show you what that looks like. I want to take a picture of this. Yeah, there. Okay, cool. So now I don't need this running anymore. I'll show you how our fade functions thing works. This is pretty much it. It's like if you want to fade something in, set its modulate so that it's alpha 0, then show the item, and then just make a tween that tweens its modulate to 1. And that's it. So fading something in or out is pretty simple. And Godot makes it easy thanks to these tweens. So you don't need to keep like an update loop or anything. Hey Max, Cypher, and Busto. Pace is fine, although I feel like an eternity to you watching it 100 times. Yeah, I have to put myself in the shoes of a player. Like, is this communicating things? Is it clear enough what's going on? It wasn't totally obvious to me that was the same spot he died in. That's okay. I think as long as it's communicating to you that you were a human and now you're a skeleton and you died due to poison, I think those are the important parts. Hey, Trackley. All right, so what did I just say? Character sleeping. Oh, yeah. So we have this graphic now. Let's paste this into GIMP. And I'm pretty sure I can make this character look like their eyelids are closed. But I wonder if there's a better way of doing this or if it's even really needed. It's not super important right now, I'd say. Also, I just realized we probably shouldn't have them sleep on the blue bed because apparently they have blue on their sprite. So then it looks like they don't exist on the bed properly. Where is that sprite? I can just change the bed. It's not hard at all. In fact, why am I doing this here? Let's just do this in Godot. Hello, scene. Where did you go? There we are. Well, what's that? That isn't actually there, is it? I don't think this is there. Hey, what did you just say to me? Thanks for the resub. Happy 1.5 years. Give him a sleep mask. Yeah, that's not there. Okay. Yes, so that blue is part of their costume. So we should change the bed to not be blue. Where is it? Furniture extra, there it is. Okay, and let's find a different colored bed. So if it's not going to be blue, probably shouldn't be any of the colors they have in their cloak. So it should be one of these two colors. Maybe this purplish color. Let's go with that. All right, now let's take a look. Yeah, that's nice. Sure. Change bed color so that it doesn't match the clothes. Match clothing. Good. I'm not going to do this then. Let's see. Fade is slow. I think the way we ended up with this, I think it would be okay. Interior scene. Need to move the scene to where the camera's positioned. We did that. Delete blank for copying. Yeah. This can be deleted from everywhere. I think we put it in a bunch of scenes. In fact, probably every scene. Blank for copying. It's in accept, battle, and shop. Accept. Battle. And shop. So that's it, right? We just deleted a bunch of blank for copying nodes. Yep. Delete unused nodes. Get it so that it fades in and the camera shows the bed. Fade to black, load another scene. Maybe test out what it looked like to have the scene just kind of floating by. We did all this stuff. First shots, interior. For other shots, probably center on the part of the action. Maybe each scene should be in its own file. I mean, instantiate it all. We did all this stuff already. Figure out how to work around this issue. Oh, the particle thing. I'm not going to do that yet. That's like mega polish. All right, when starting a brand new game, maybe show the skeleton walking across the bridge with their dialogue following. Oh, speaking of dialogue following, while I was watching that last one, I realized the wake up scene has the dialogue positioned kind of weirdly above the character. Yeah, here, this dialogue, Y plus 50. I think I want it to be vector 2.up times 20, like we do for the shopkeeps thing. And maybe we should even make like an intro position above character, so it's the same everywhere. Well, let's take a look at this. So this says whatever time for my first adventure or whatever they say, I forgot, but it should be 30 pixels closer to the character now. Yeah. I think that's better. I think it's gonna be even better when we shrink the size of that dialogue, which I'd like to do. That's fine. Oh, footstep sounds. I forgot all about that. That's going to be a little bit hard because we've got to time it with the animations. No, not really, because we don't have to. Reposition wake up dialogue. It's now closer to the main character. All right, I want to shrink the dialogue height. This. Maybe change a couple settings in the scene to make the container shrink instead of fill. Dialogue box. Okay, so what if we didn't have the buttons showing? And what are we actually doing here? Like if there was no button in here. So now this parent VBox would need to be set to shrink. And so would its panel container. Wait, what am I doing? What am I doing? What else is taking up space in here? It's just this. So this just has a size that's too big. Size at the 161. We can just shrink this, right? But shouldn't it know to shrink itself? No, wouldn't, I guess, unless there's a VBox container above it. It's not inside a container, yeah. So we need that inside of a container, but only in the case that we do this. I guess there's... Yeah, darn it. Oh, we don't have custom content. We could make a custom dialogue box for this. What else do we have in here? A VBox as a parent should work. Yeah, but I guess we'd only need to conditionally add it. Let me undo the changes to this scene. Let's go back into there. Dialogue box. So let's try this again. So we would not have a button here. If we were to just put a VBox container above all of this. What's causing that space at the bottom? Separation 10. Oh, because the button container is still there? Okay, we just hide that and then we're fine. So the buttons container needs to be hidden and there needs to be a VBox container above it. Need to hide the buttons container and need a VBox container above the panel container. May also work in Not Breaking Game. Yeah, I guess we could just try it. Let's test that out. So we open up dialog box again. We add a VBox container at the root. I could actually type this correctly. There. Get that there. Put that there. And just run the game, I guess. Yeah. And then see if any dialogues look weird. Let's start with the one here, because this is probably still too big, but just by a bit. Yeah. So ignore that. Go into the game. See how these things look. That's fine. That's fine. Any other things here? Oh, it's all looking pretty good. Yeah, I think everything's looking good. Okay. All right, so that fixes that part. And then the only problem we have here is that when there are no buttons, we need to hide the button container. Buttons container. which we don't ever fetch, I guess. Or at least not through code as far as I can tell. Debug menu, that's not a dialogue. Skill table, that's not a dialogue. None of this stuff is for dialogue. So the dialog box doesn't necessarily... Oh, wait, where do we add in the buttons themselves? Here it is. Create button, and then add it to the options container. Options container is here. We want the entire buttons container to go away. Yeah, and that's when we call set options. And we only ever do this here. Could we hide it? Does hiding it work? Yes, it does. Okay, so we can just hide it then. So let's do that. Let's give this a unique name. Go get a private control buttons container. In ready, fetch that. And then in add child is the options container. So if options container dot child count, yeah, get child count. If it's equal to 0, or just set this thing's visibility according to that. There. Okay, let's try that now. So now the first dialogue should be shorter, but every other dialogue in the game should pretty much be fine. Well, dialogue in the intro will be shorter. Yeah. Now, why is it rendering way up there? Presumably because it still thinks the size is as large as it used to be. So if I skip this and we go into the dialogue. Should be, and it's not dismissible. But if it's dismissible, it'll have a button, right? Oh, I see, because we add in an extra button somewhere else. Okay. Huh. So I wonder then what's breaking the sizing in the first case. Or not the sizing, the positioning. Which probably means it thinks it has the wrong size. Oh, this is still broken. In fact, this is super broken. What am I doing? Oh, or it's dismissible. Yeah, that's what I meant. Close button is its own thing right now. I do think we should change that. I'm gonna need to turn off the music pretty soon. This is gonna drive me nuts. Yeah, this is looking better now. So that part's fixed. Let's go into the sound settings and turn off the sound. There. And then we need this thing to be sized correctly. Strangely, this is getting repositioned on every single frame, and it's got the wrong size here, I guess. Or maybe it has a right size, and it's just... Oh, let's print this out. Size. The root control is still big. Oh, yeah. That's probably it. Wait, why is this root control even needed? Why is that needed? It might be for positioning, but I think the VBox container should be able to position itself. I guess I want this anchored in the middle. Oh, what was that do? Huh. I mean, we could test it. I could just say make root and then put this here and delete this, but get its script up there. Dialog box.cs. This may be a terrible idea. Yeah, for one, I got rid of the theming, but the theming is easy enough to fix. Typed it without a period in there. Let's try that. I broke everything. There's an issue with the size of containers not getting reported correctly. You'll also need to set the target of the drag controller to a new route. Gotcha. Is that what we're breaking here? Oh, it thinks this thing is gigantic. Also, that's unusual. I guess we don't free the previous scene. That is very unusual. Wake up scene. Oh, yeah, we don't free it. We only free it when I call this debug function. Okay, we got to write that down. Free the scenes that we've already shown. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I am trying to fix the dialog controller. Yeah. So this needs to be set to... Oh, the drag source was the panel container. I guess it got to be the root now. Although I don't think this is what's causing the problem. This isn't set to the full rectangle. Hmm. I probably need to investigate this by using the remote editor. Source can be panel, target needs to be the root. The thing is, this is all disabled anyway for this. So if it's showing in the wrong location, I don't think the drag controller would have anything to do with that. Yeah, like we should be seeing a dialogue here and we're not. I probably just broke something else. There's probably something on dialog box that used to be there that I got rid of. This has a theme, it has a script. It doesn't have any of this other stuff, which it probably needed. I mean, let's set some of these. Mouse filter. Grow. What if we just went with those? What would that on its own do? Still not showing up. It might not be showing up because of a sizing thing, though. It thinks it's 1092 pixels tall. I mean, that's certainly why. Because then we try to position it at that coordinate. So I guess we delete this and we'll see it now. I wonder why it thinks the size is so large. Like even larger than the screen. Yeah, so that's the part we need to figure out. Something here is not shrinking. And this is set to... Actually, I don't know what this is set to. What is this set to? Shrink center. Yeah, that's what I would want. And yet it's getting a gigantic size. Maybe the panel container has a strange size set on it. Main panel container. Yeah, it's setting the size of this equal to the size of the panel container. On clamp to screen. Out of curiosity, we just got rid of this, which I'm sure we're going to break other things by doing this. I just wonder, will the intro cutscene work? I don't know how that main panel container size would be so large anyway, though. Yeah, it's still wrong. All right, I'm not sure. I don't think this is probably worth me trying to fix right now then. But this actually does bother me a lot. Because, yeah, the original size of the dialogue. Do we have a picture of it? No. But it's huge. I don't want to break everything. I don't know how to fix this though. What would make it think the size is huge? I don't know the answer to that. 1092 pixels tall. I guess let's launch through here and then just pause once it's showing up and try to take a look at what's going on. there. All right, so we paused. We can go find a dialog box in here now. There are two for some reason. Huh. Why are there two? Is one of these a test one that I added? Dialog box. Create. Create only happens here. Is there one in here somehow? No. Okay. Where are you located? You are in wake up scene canvas layer, and you are in the shop. Oh, yeah, sure, whatever. Okay. The shop scene technically exists. All right, so it's this one that I care about. And this is in the wake up scene, right? Yeah, so let's go to the wake up scene. Scenes, wake up scene, canvas layer, dialog box. Okay, so here it is. And this should have all the children that we have here that we expect. Its minimum X is set to 500, but the size of this is set to 108. And then this thing's size is set to 1092. I don't get that. The panel container is not making it be that big. Huh, yeah. This thing just thinks it's massive. More or less positive. The issue with the size is this. Can you know the rich text child will resize incorrectly? The position of size is altered on the same frame. It's instanced. I see. So couldn't we just wait a frame to do this? If the dialogue, if the position and size is altered on the same frame. I guess we call clamp to screen, which is going to try to change the position. How do you work around this? Setting custom minimum size X for rich text label will fix this. I'm sure we've tried this though, right? And this presumably has no effect. I didn't mean to do that. Minimum size 5. Does that just magically fix this? No, but what if we set a minimum size of that too? Hey, Kane. Currently considering buying some subscription to some AI for vibe coding purposes. Which AI or tool is currently the best one? I haven't tried more than just Copilot, so I can't answer that myself. But I also haven't tried vibe coding, so I can't really even answer it for Copilot. Yeah, maybe Chad has some opinions about that. Yeah, I don't know what's going wrong with this. Setting custom minimum size for rich text label will fix this. Unless there's another rich text label somewhere, which I don't know why there would be. It's just this one. And the minimum size didn't seem to matter. They're not getting their size to be gigantic though, is there? Are they? Also, it says it's just for a single frame. I don't think this is the problem exactly. Because if it were for only a single frame, we're trying to resize this constantly. But yeah, I guess this thing about increasing the height dramatically, that does sound like the issue. Why do you say we resize it constantly? I guess I meant we reposition it constantly. Like we're checking its size constantly. So in process, we're doing this every single frame where we're repositioning this thing. So if the size were only wrong for one frame, we would be resizing it just the next frame. And it would look like it's flashing really big, but it's not doing that. It's just always thinks it's 1092. Wouldn't that be similar to asking the seller if you should buy his product? I don't think so. AIs aren't there are no like financial incentives for an AI. So ideally they're still just processing data. Well, I guess the data could be biased somehow financially, but I kind of doubt it. Interesting that this solution also didn't fix this though. There probably is some related problem going on here. Kane, I guess you could try multiple different ones out and just see which one seems to work best for you. Yeah. VBox resizes itself because the children report the size incorrectly. I guess the panel container could be reporting the size wrong. Or maybe any of these could be. The panels seem to have the right size when I broke into the debugger or broke in Godot. This thing is a child of HBox container. I wonder, okay, what if we tried this? What if we set a minimum size on this thing? That's how I fix it. Have you tried the new device? Yeah, and I'll probably be using that in the afternoon. I want to try to work on, I'm not sure what music yet, but probably some music. You know what? I'm just going to do this up the whole hierarchy and we'll just see, do any of these actually fix something here? I'm guessing this is going to be broken no matter what. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working. Okay, maybe we don't try to fix this right now then. Maybe we just do the button container stuff because that shouldn't be problematic. But the VBox thing that we changed is problematic. So I guess let's go change all of this stuff back to normal except for this. Unique name and owner for buttons container. Everything else is just deletable. Man, it's such a shame. Such a shame. Buttons container. I don't know where that goes inside of this, but I think Godot will reposition it, right? Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. It clearly worked. I just don't know where it tends to go. Hey, Kaf. It's going pretty well. Sorry for missing the raid the other day. I hope your stream went well. I can take a look because it's pretty annoying. Yeah, I think that would be helpful. Let me push my branch pretty soon. Let me see at least if this works. How many wish lists? We're at like 1,763. Pretty much everything's been stagnant as far as new traffic goes. I haven't been talking about wishlisting the game through the stream very much. I probably should. There's the link if anyone wants to do that. It's my bad. No. You couldn't have known unless you were like watching the stream for long enough to know that I was about to get lunch or something. And yeah, that's my bad. And sometimes I'll stick around for a little longer, but if I'm just about to get lunch and then I see the raid ahead of time, but honestly, usually I don't anyway, just because I think if I needed to take a break, I still need to take a break. But I do appreciate it. All right, so this part's working okay. Yeah, can I get a picture of this? If I do return to title in the new game, oh nice, that works. I can't get a picture of this? What? Does that mean I broke this just by hiding the buttons container? No, it does not mean that. Yeah, so by the way, the whole thing I was trying to fix is this. I want this to go away, which I think we're now going to push over to Kevin. But I think it would look a lot nicer if that was gone. Alternatively, let's say this is too hard to figure out. We could just make a new dialog box that's only for the intro that looks pretty much identical to this, but just doesn't have the same layout. What kind of marketing do you do for Skeleseller? I mean, nothing right now. Which I wonder if that means that those YouTube videos were helping. They must have been, because I guess that's the big difference here. I haven't really done anything different for the last week or two, except that I haven't made new YouTube videos. And I've seen the stats drop a bit. But I want to make some Skeleseller specific stuff. All right, let's go and check this in. So this is just hide the buttons container. hide buttons container for dialogues if no buttons exist. Yeah, there, that. This was supposed to be to shrink. This was done in an effort to shrink the dialogue's height. Or I should say it like that. But for that, we need a VBox container above the panel container. But doing so will cause a bug where the height is reported at 1092 or something absurd. Yeah. Doing nothing is the best marketing right now. I definitely think we need proper marketing. Also, hey, Balazas. I watch him back on YouTube. Yeah, the VODs are always still going to be there. What I was talking about was I was making shorts for a little while, and they were getting a decent amount of views. It wasn't great or anything. And then I would leave a comment saying something like, if you want to help out, wishlist Skeleseller. And people were probably clicking that because I did see that we'd get more people playing. One of the things that I look at, let me see if I can show this. Give me a sec. Yeah, this is not private. Yeah, one of the things I've been looking at is this number, the lifetime unique users. So these are the number of people who've actually opened the Skeleseller demo through Steam. And it's at 1,237. This number tended to rise by like maybe maybe like 5 per day. In fact, if I click 2 weeks, you can't see this number changing here, but you can see the complementary units changing. So 3,065. And I mean, you can figure out the ratio, right? 12 to 30. So if you roughly did that here, you'd figure out how much that lower number should change by. But yeah, over the course of 2 weeks, we'd gotten about 155 new people who just claimed the game. And if we click 1 month, I'm guessing the number is going to be higher than double that. Yeah. So double that would have been 310. It's actually a 410. So that means that the last 2 weeks, it's been slowing down. So yeah, maybe those YouTube videos are helping. Maybe I just don't make some. Probably have a tracker on the YouTube link to know how many people clicked it. I don't think you can. Unless you're saying make a tracker link inside the YouTube description. So instead of linking directly to Steam, link to something like whatever, bit.ly. Why can't I type that? Bit.ly. And then have it go to the Steam page. That, yeah, you can do that. And then I can figure out how many people click that. I think some people would be less likely to click it seeing it's a shortened link and not knowing what it's going to bring them to. But I think it was a minor amount of traffic anyway. It just shows that I need to be doing something with marketing and I'm not really doing anything right now. And part of it is I've been in the prepping for demo doldrums. But yeah, we're making some progress. All right, how much more time do we have? We have about half an hour. Let's try to get some of this stuff done. Hey, Thomas. Okay, so we got to go free up all of these scenes. Wake up scene fading out. When the fade is done, we want to free the scene entirely, right? Wake up scene. Fade out. Tween equals that. Tween callback. Q free. So we're freeing the whole scene here. We could really just do this in all of these. Intro shop could do the same thing. Where's the fade out of this scene? Here it is. Yeah, just do this all over the place. Where else do we have this? Intro battle and intro accept quest. And intro accept quest. Okay, we should not see any problem with this. So let's go test it out. Skip. Yeah, okay, let's go try it. I guess we're just gonna watch a whole cutscene. We just need to make sure there are no errors. We actually don't even need to watch it. Yeah, so that very tall dialogue I want to fix. The terrain here, this definitely needs to be fixed. But yeah, I like the quest accepted thing showing up. Remember, I had the music and sounds turned off, but they do exist for this. I just don't have them playing because I've heard them too much. But actually, it's probably a good idea to watch this muted every once in a while because now you don't have sound cues for things. I wonder how many people will watch this or play less of the demo because of this. I mean, I guess you could always skip it. And if you skip it, I hope you're not confused about what happened. Yeah, then it plops you in the game. There were no errors, right? Yeah, no errors. So free scenes, free intro scenes as they're finished. All right, this was just so that the scene hierarchy is cleaner and so that we don't have any code still running from scenes that aren't present. Yeah. Okay, when starting a brand new game, I'm getting rid of that for right now. Add footsteps, add a jump off bed sound effect, add thought bubble sound effects when accepting a quest or thinking about potions or something. Could be a UI sounding thing. Terrain look interesting. Make sure you're not able to move any dialogue boxes. I don't think that's possible for any of these, right? I didn't try that. I probably should. It would be kind of funny if you could, although I guess it wouldn't really matter. Because in almost every case, the dialogue box is going to be fighting you. Yeah, like we can't drag this. There isn't one on this screen. So we just have to wait for this to finish. You can't drag this though. In fact, you shouldn't be able to click anything. Yeah. Yeah. You still can't. The next time the dialogue shows up is after you die. It'd be funny if you could drag these items or something though. All right, so can we drag this one? No. And then there's one more dialogue that shows up. And it's when you come back to life or undeath. What nice artwork. Okay, yeah, nice. This is working well. Okay, cool. Yeah, that one's done. Put a border around each scene. Use wavy text for this is my time for my first adventure. We use it for the poison, but maybe we could try it for this and just see how it looks. Wake up scene. Wake up scene. Time for my first adventure. Okay, so what if we put wave? Might look stupid. I might need to control the parameters of this. It's not bad. Hey, Brutarius. Yeah, it's not bad. I think it's too much movement, though. I think that's the real problem. Let's just delete it. I don't think we need it. Darken the edges of the screen to get poisoned. All right, let's try this texture rect with a radial gradient and see how we would apply this to something like maybe this scene. Texture rectangle gradient texture 2D. How do you even do this? Hmm. Fill? Oh, fill. Radial. Here we go. Okay. There's that. And then we would need to from and to repeat. Holy moly. Okay, I do not think we're actually going to mess around with this then, because I don't think I want to spend the time trying to figure this out. But what the idea was is that we make a circle around the whole scene and then fade things out based on whether we're in that circle. And that way we could darken the borders. And we probably could figure this out. From is this and this. Can we make it go 0, 0 to 1, 0? I don't understand what this is doing. Yeah. Or if we need like another color to see what's going on here. Whoa. Yeah, so there's probably a way to figure this out. Okay, there's some crazy stuff you can do with this. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I want this in the game though. Maybe if we made this a 1D texture and set... No, you can't do that. Yeah, possibly what you're suggesting is what we need here. Oh, yeah. Huh. Good call. And we set this to repeat, because we shouldn't need to repeat. And then we want this inverted. So I guess we just slide these things on opposite sides of one another. And we want the width and height to be a higher resolution. Then we apply this as our light source, I guess. Does that even make sense? So we add in a canvas modulate. Set this to dark. Add in a light point. I don't think lighting is a way to do this necessarily. Set inner point as transparent. I don't think I understand why we would do that, but I'll need to check that out in a sec. Can we copy the whole gradient? Probably not. Gradient texture 2D. Paste. Okay, we can, but then we need to do this again. Radial. Are we getting there yet? Delete this thing. We're kind of getting there. Sort of. I actually don't think we want the gradient to look like this. Can I make this red or something? Yeah, so I want this to be white as well. Okay, that's interesting. Not at all what I want. Yeah, so something like this is maybe what I was thinking about. Where we center the screen on this. Hey, Boffy, game's coming along well. We've been working on the intro. Do without the canvas modulate, but how would we allow this to work then? Right, we'd have some texture here. Oh, I think I see what you're saying. You're saying just overlay this on top of, okay, never mind. I got what you're talking about. So this would be transparent, this would be transparent, and then it would go to darkness at the other side, but not transition through white. So it'd be like that. Okay, I see what you were talking about. And we just size this to whatever we want so that the center of the screen is always kind of visible and then it fades off to darkness. In fact, we'd have it fade off sooner or something like that. And then we just need to set this to like 1920 by 1080 or something like that. And then only center this thing where it's needed. So then we just trim this down. And this. Something like that would kind of give us a viewport that we want. Oh, man. Yeah, there's probably a way to figure this out. And yeah, I suspect it'd be somewhat difficult. Because to get this to look like a circle would mean we'd have to use a 1920 by 1920 texture and then move this up here. And then to shrink the circle, we do this. And then just move this. Why don't you set the size of the same as the tile map layer? Because the point was basically that we don't want to show this blank space. So imagine that the tile map layer is, how do I even do this? Let's do something like this. So let's say your tiles are only this big. This is your tile map layer. Let me try writing a T properly. There. All right, so that's your tile map layer, but then your viewport can see a whole lot. So maybe your viewport is like this. So I was thinking we just draw a circle as a subset of the tile map layer. And who cares how big your viewport is? Now you're only seeing a subsection of the tile map layer. So pretty much like what you see here, except that this would be filled in green. But I don't think that would look good. Like if we try this. Set the height to the same as the tile map. But then we're not going to render black outside of the tile map, right? You're saying set this to something like 500 by 500. Why is this gigantic? Because I made the size of this huge. Yeah, so what I'm saying is if we did something like this, then when you render the scene, you're going to see outside of the darkened area. Oh, no, I see what you're saying. Because the texture's color is going to be the same as a clear color in that case. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that would work. Yeah. So yes, we only need to figure out what that is. And then we need to change the gradient here. But then my question is this effect even worth it? Like let's fill in, I guess, a little bit of this green background. Why am I not drawing here? Should have the right tile selected, right? Oh, weird. Okay, yeah, no, it's good. So we do something like that. I guess we'll just play the scene. It's gonna be really tiny. And I didn't cover this apparently. Oh yeah, I didn't. Oh, I was trying to center it. That's why. All right, I don't know. So this is 600 by 600 then. There, something like that. So is this effect worth it? It would add this glow here, which we could get rid of by just stopping it like that. Although we probably want there to be some aliasing there. Or anti-aliasing, I guess. Linear, constant, cubic. Actually, the constant one's kind of interesting. It just makes a circle. I'm just clicking things right now. Yeah. I mean, I guess we could try putting this over all of them and just kind of seeing what that ends up looking like. It wouldn't be obvious in the wake up scene, but it would be in the other scenes, like the battle, for example. And we need to fill in the background a bit. Now let's put one for the shop as well. I don't think this is probably a worthwhile effect to do. But that was the idea that I had from when we were first just trying to figure out how's this going to look on the screen, is how do you make it not look like it's just a tiny portion of everything that's going on? Okay, I mean, it does look pretty interesting now that we're seeing it in context. Obviously, there's some little glitches that are happening here. But this would make it so we don't need to draw some like mega portion of the map and we wouldn't have a rectangle showing. We need to not have these things fade in or out though. I mean, the other thing we can do is just zoom in the camera a lot. I don't know, does anyone have any opinions on this effect? That circular view into this world? Could just have one of those in the intro scene? Yeah. Yeah, and then just keep it the same size and make sure that everything works there. We already focused the camera somewhere, so I guess we could just turn this off. Turn this off, turn this off. This one doesn't even have one. Put it over here instead. And then center this wherever the camera is. In fact, we could always align it with the camera. Its position is at the upper left right now, but we could change that. Maybe. Center. That's not what I want. Is there no way to change the anchor of this thing? I guess we could add it to a control and the control can position it. You add as a child a camera and it'll just work. Maybe. Although we'd probably need to center this still, and then centering it isn't gonna do what I want. Now let's try it. So the intro scene, we're probably seeing it and it's just not a difference. But for the other scenes, oh, what happened? What? What's going on right now? I think we need to set that this is higher than everything else. Yeah. I'm not sure why it's not cutting off the dialogue, though. It might not be big enough. Anyway, yeah, something like this. Okay, now I understand why those black spaces are showing up. Because that was the tile map where I didn't fill it in. So yeah, do we like this circular view into the world? Is that a good thing? I kind of like it. Yeah, I kind of like it. But then it makes me think, wouldn't it be nice to just see from the edge of the screens, like some scene like this that's just covering everything? In which case, if we're going to do that, we should probably zoom into the level such that you can see the majority of that space at a clean zoom level. Yeah, so on my screen, for example, the intro scene on its own can probably zoomed in another, let's see how much. Like it could be at least double in the vertical direction and probably like quadruple horizontally. So we double it in that case. And yeah, this guild scene doesn't have too much going on. We could probably zoom in to like 4x there. Probably the same thing over here. Yeah, I'm a little torn on this though. Because we're gonna do that, we're gonna be like committing to it. But I think we're at a pretty good stopping point. So let's write down what we did for this. This is basically just have a texture rectangle. Could have a texture rect, a gradient. Where is that gradient? Changing the rendering mode during the intro, maybe what you want after all. Maybe. But I think it's going to be very hard to figure out. The gradient like this. Then just size it to the tile map. Since the edge of the gradient will be black, which is the same as the fill color. Yeah, the stretch mode of the window is one potential way we could do this. And we probably need to mess around with that. Probably want to change the camera zoom or the stretch mode of the window to make all this look good. Yeah, probably the camera zoom would be fine. Anyway, I'll have to put some thought into that. All right. I have had it on my to-do list to raid Zinka. I don't know if she's even streaming, but she raided me a while ago and I never got to raid her back. And now she apparently streams on Wednesdays. She is streaming. Okay. So here's what I think we're going to do. It is about noon. I'm going to get lunch. I'm going to raid Zinka, which normally I don't raid at my lunch streams. But like I said, she only streams on Wednesday and I don't know when she'll be ending. And then I'll be back in about an hour. And we'll probably do just music stuff the rest of the day. I have this, which I've shown, the Mini Freak. And I've used it a bit. I'm not an expert at this or anything. But it should be fun to kind of mess around and see what we can do. Maybe in terms of battle music, maybe in terms of the music I already kind of started working on over here. Let me go back to the beginning of this. But yeah, I think that's what we'll do the rest of the day. So let me go pull this up. Raid. Okay, yeah. Thank you all for watching. Thank you. Here's a Steam link again. I'll be back in a bit. And take care. See ya.